Has Derby County's deal for Patrick Agyemang fell through? Now, Patrick Agyemang has been seen in training for Charlotte FC, and that has been posted on social media this afternoon. Now, obviously, there's a lot of conversations and talking points that can be had with this, and some of which I spoke about a few days ago. Now, obviously, it was reported by John Percy that he expected Patrick Agyemang to have his medical this week to complete his transfer to Derby County with a fee agreed within the region of £5.8 million. However, just today, it has been recorded and posted that Patrick Agyemang has been training with the group at Charlotte FC. Obviously, July the 9th, the time is 3:22 in England. And it's one of those for me which is a little bit baffling, if I'm completely honest. I know people might talk about work permits, contract terms, etc., but I'm led to believe that contracts and fees and stuff like that are all done. So I'm not really sure what's going on here, but should we look into it a little bit more? Now, obviously, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. But let's get into it. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets. Now, obviously, this is really, it's a little bit of shocking news in regards to Derby County and their transfer window for that of Patrick Agyemang. Obviously, a few weeks ago, well, it wasn't even a few weeks ago, it was probably last week, it was reported by that of John Percy that Derby County had agreed a fee with Charlotte FC within the region of £5.8 million, around $8 million, and that the player would be heading over to England to complete his medical and complete the sign-in for Derby County after the Gold Cup final, in which he played up against, I believe it was Mexico, and that was that Sunday night. And obviously the reports all suggested that he'd be travelling over Monday, medical would be done Tuesday, probably be announced as a Derby County player on Wednesday. However, we have now reached, what day is it? It is now Wednesday the 9th, and he has been recorded and pictured in training with Charlotte FC, which obviously for Derby County doesn't seem to be great news, if I'm completely honest. Obviously, you've got to look at this from a Derby County perspective and a perspective of that of the Derby County fans. We've put a lot of money forward in regards to try and bring this player to the club, and it feels as if it's not quite happening. Now, obviously, I don't know the reason why. There is some suggestions from someone called DCFC Stephen over on Twitter suggesting that it could be to do with the MLS All-Star game. Now, that is 14 days away, 2 weeks away, and once that's been played, there'll be, 2 weeks until the start of our season. So for me, I think that would be really silly. Now, obviously, we had a similar situation last year in regards to that of Jakub Vidal-Zetterstrom, where he stayed at Djurgården until they were able to bring in a replacement, which came at the end of their qualification rounds for, I believe it was the Conference League, but it might have been the Europa League. And obviously it ended up with, we didn't get Zetterstrom in until, mid-August. I think we played 3 or 4 games by the point that he came in and was actually able to play for us. So it's one of them really, which is really sort of difficult to sort of look at, because we don't really want that sort of drama again. And obviously I'm not going to sort of give an opinion on why I think this is happening or the situation, because I think it's sort of a very difficult one to really put a finger on, because obviously I don't know the situation regarding the deal that's been agreed or the contract. I don't know if this is something that's been discussed. Now, me personally, if you were gonna sort of bring a player in and you knew that sort of the deal was sort of not really going to be done till sort of the late July. You sort of have those issues of he's going to miss, what, 2-3 games of pre-season minimum before he comes and joins. Now, there is obviously the situation where he comes in essentially fit and ready to go already, because obviously with him playing in the MLS and just being playing in the Gold Cup, is already sort of up to speed. So maybe it's a situation like that where realistically they're only really focusing on they're only really focused on sort of getting him up to speed tactically rather than fitness wise, which is obviously sort of a conversation that could be had. But I don't know. I felt like with Zetterstrom, it felt like the right thing to do. I felt like Derby County were in desperate need of a number one goalkeeper, and that's exactly what he came in and was. And in regards of this of Patrick Agyemang, I'm not entirely sure sort of how this sort of is going to work in that sort of regard, because I think this is a very, very different situation in regards of, like, I think they play New York City on the weekend, Charlotte FC, and then it's obviously the All-Star game. This is really, it's very, very baffling to me, because last year, as much as I agreed with, we want Zetterstrom, we get Zetterstrom, you hold out, that was purely because the other options that we were looking at, if you remember back to Dan Iverson, wanted fairly decent wages and a couple of £1 million. There's a Victor Johansson who ended up going to Stoke early doors. There was a lot of sort of situations that sort of meant that it was Derby County's best bet to go with Zetterstrom, whereas with this one, we've not really had any other sort of regard for other transfers and other sort of conversations in that sort of forward area. Now, I do believe that obviously in regards of Patrick Agyemang, if John Eustace wants him, obviously you go and get him, and that's perfectly fine. I can deal with that. Go for it. But what I don't want to happen is Derby County to fall into this habit of every year sort of finding themselves in a situation where, although we're signing deals to bring players in, we're then sort of not getting them in quick enough, essentially. Now, there is players leaving Charlotte FC. Patrick Agyemang talking to Wilfred Zaha in training today. It's a weird one, because I'm just scrolling through Will Palazak, I'm going to think his name is, his account on Twitter seems to be the Charlotte FC, sort of our version of Ed Dawes or Dom Dietrich. And a lot of it is about Patrick Agyemang. It does sort of seem as if he is going to be involved with them this weekend. And I don't know how I feel about it. Because obviously, if we've got a fee agreed, we've got personal terms agreed, what can you actually do in that sort of regard? I don't really know. You'd sort of hope that you get the deal done and the player comes in straight away, but obviously we really do have a problem here where a player that's worth up to $8 million is in huge doubt over potentially joining the club because he's currently still training with his old club. So if that fee has been agreed, if those personal terms have been agreed, something is obviously going off, or something has been agreed that Derby County fans don't know, and I think that we should be told. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts on this one down in the comments if you have not done so already. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you in my next video. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 PM as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets.